what we're going to cover right now is we talked about standard pricing and standard credit card pricing and how you make your residual. And I use the example of a merchant doing $10,000 with 100 transactions, okay? And they're paying 0.5%, which calculates to $50 of revenue times your percentage, whatever, 30, 40, 50%, whatever you get, okay? 100 transactions times a dime is $10, and then a $5 on file fee, okay? Now, there are ways to drastically increase your residuals through fees, okay? They're optional. You don't have to charge them. However, the reps that do make a ton more money than the reps that don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through our schedule of fees, and I'm going to show you and tell you how to sell them. Because if you learn how to sell the fees, when the objection comes up, when you're trying to charge them, you can get over it and make a significant amount of more money, okay? So, if you would, please flip to page 3 of the application, section 9. Okay? What I want to do is I want to tell you our cost on all these, what you make in revenue on your residual, and if or if you cannot waive them, so that you understand fully how to use the application to your advantage. Okay? So, when you are writing a merchant up, you write in a base rate, a transaction fee on the top, American Express, etc. Now you come down to section 9, occurrence fees. The only fee you have to charge is a $2 on file fee. Okay? That's the first box. That is our cost. We send $2 to WorldPay, Vantiv, whoever, okay, to do the credit card processing. So anything you mark up in the on file fee above that $2, you make your revenue share, okay, of that dollar amount. So market price is $5 to $10 on that. The batch fee, okay? Batch fee, there is no cost. So when you charge a dime or 20 cents or 30 cents, it's all profit. That's a good place to make some money. Because you remember, you always have to think in macro. Okay? You have to think macro terms. When I have 400 merchants, if I can make an extra $4 a month, that's $1,600 a month, right?
How much do you, when you write them, do you batch them for?
Usually 20 to 30 cents.
20%?
Yeah. If you're writing a point terminal, you have to charge at least 60. Because,
60 on point?
yes, and the reason being is because point has a monthly fee of $13. Then instead of charging a monthly fee, we just charge it in batch.
Okay.
Okay. So, but the batch fee is a great place to pick an extra $3, $4, $5 up of revenue. And like I said, you have to think of the macro. When I have 200, 300, 400 merchants, if I can make $5 on every one of those merchants, I'm making another $1,500, $2,000 a month, right? So keep that in mind. And this is the biggest mistake reps make. And I'm all for your first 10, 20 deals. Do whatever you gotta do to get the deal. Get a yes, feel good, great. But then you have to be a smart banker guy and start saying, okay, I need to make some money. And if you get in the habit of doing it from the beginning, you'll be able to do it all the time. So, on file fee, anything over $2 is profit. Batch fee, we have no cost, all profit. Voice off, dial pay, that doesn't even apply. All that is if a merchant, if their terminal goes down, they can call our office and run a transaction. So that doesn't even apply. ACH DBA change for $25. If they change their business incorporation number or their bank account, I got news for you. We don't even bill the 25 bucks. It's on the app because there's other ISOs into it, but that fee doesn't really apply. Retrieval fee or chargeback fee, $15, okay? When a merchant has a chargeback, all right, we charge $15. Does anybody not know what a chargeback is? Okay.
I don't know what a retrieval fee is. I know what a chargeback fee is.
Okay, the retrieval fee is what we charge because we have to pull out the money and facilitate the chargeback. Okay, what a chargeback is if a merchant or a customer walks into a merchant and runs a transaction and then cancels it, or the merchant takes a stolen card and it gets canceled, that's a chargeback. What happens in those cases, and it's important you guys understand that because you're gonna walk into merchants that say, I'm dealing with a chargeback and I hate my processor, and just go along with it, but it's really not the processor's fault. But what happened is they had a consumer come in, buy something, and then, you know, a week, a month, 60 days later, all of a sudden that transaction is deducted out of their account and put into what they call basically an escrow account. And then they're asked to prove with a bill of sale and a signed credit card receipt to prove that, you know, the sale was good. And then Visa, MasterCard, Discover, whoever the card brand is, arbitrates that and decides who gets the money. But you're gonna have merchants that have those on a monthly basis, and we charge 15 bucks. The average in the market is 35. First Data charges 35. Most of the other companies charge 35.
What's the cost on it?
The retrieval, there is no rev share on because it's just a hard.
Okay, so if we charge 15 and I actually put 30, I couldn't get rev share on the 15?
You can't. No, you can't bump it. I like what you're thinking though.
Right,
but you can't bump the chargeback fee.
All right.
But okay, underneath the retrieval fee, you'll see the annual fee of $79. Okay, annual fee is probably the most commonly waived fee we have. And the reason is because it is exactly what it is. There's no real way to sell an annual fee other than to say it's an annual fee. All right? You make $20 of the annual fee. If you waive the annual fee, you're only waiving it for the first year. Okay? Now, if you waive it and the merchant calls in year 2 when it's added, we will automatically refund them, and you only have to refund the $20 that you were paid. But remember, the annual fee is a good one to waive because A, it's hard to sell, B, we're gonna add it back on, you're gonna make 20 bucks, and just so you guys know, because I know how I was when I got into business, oh my God, they add the annual fee on, that's gotta be a nightmare. No, it's not. Less than 2%, our call volume doesn't go up 2% the month we do it. Right. It doesn't, merchants, they're used to it, okay? So,
Something we should share with them when we're.
No.
I would share, yeah, I would. I always tell them, I'm waiving this. This is what I tell a merchant. I'm waiving the annual fee, I'm getting rid of it for you. I can't control a billing. We typically will add these on in the first 18 months. If you see one of these on your bill, call our office, I'll immediately refund it, but I wanted to just give you a heads up. You can do that, or you cannot do that. That's a matter of what you think is ethical or not ethical, okay? We don't judge morality, right? So, all right, minimum bill, 25 bucks. You can waive this fee, all right? But, let me share something with you. 99% of the merchants you write, the minimum bill doesn't affect them. Okay, what is a minimum bill? Basically, they're gonna have to generate $25 worth of fees, or we're going to bill them the difference up to 25 bucks. So if you have a merchant who does 2 transactions and they generate $7 in fees, we're gonna charge them 18 bucks to get them to the 25, okay, for having their account on file. Most of your merchants are going to generate way over $25 in fees. Don't waive it, and here's why. Because when you get 400 or 500 merchants on the books, and you lose 10 a month, you make $12.50 a merchant on the merchants that stop processing but don't send in a cancellation letter, because every merchant processor requires a written cancellation letter to cancel. So at any given time, when you get down the road 2, 3, 4 years, you may have 40 merchants on your book that don't process. You make $12.50 on that fee on every one of those, plus the on-file fee that we're going to continue to bill. So you'll make $17 a month on 40 merchants that don't even process credit cards. So don't waive it just because you can waive it, because it doesn't apply to the merchants processing anyways, right?
I always sell it by telling them, listen, this is what keeps our lights on if you decide to take 3 months off. Our business is dependent on an income just like yours.
Sure.
And if you just stop processing, we still need to keep our lights on, and that's the reason why we do that.
I mean, the way I sold it was, doesn't apply to you.
Right.
You do way more. That's it. I mean, that's the easiest
Yeah,
thing.
I'm gonna talk about it when they bring it up.
Yeah, sure. Okay, next is the early deconversion fee, $375. It's a cancellation fee, okay? If they cancel prior to 3 years, they're gonna pay $375. You can waive this, okay? If you don't waive it, you'll make $175 of that every time somebody cancels. So when you're losing 6 or 7 merchants a month, you'll make $1,000 on merchants leaving. So if you don't have to waive it, don't waive it just because you can. Okay? I recommend doing whatever the person you're riding in the car with, or whoever's trained you, whoever got you into bank card, whatever they do, they're training you for a reason. They know what they're doing. Do what they do. But I'm telling you, if you want to make a little extra money, leave some of this stuff.
Isn't this kind of put them in a little bit of a contract? A rep that I went out with said if they feel like they don't want to be under any contract,
Just waive
that fee.
That's correct. This is the only thing that holds them in it, is the $375. So, all right. Card brand usage fee does not apply. That's, if you see the little 2 next to it, all that is, that 6 cents transaction does not apply to any cost plus pricing. Okay? Chargeback fee. So there's a $15 fee to retrieve the money, and then there's a $15 fee
Chargeback.
for the chargeback. Okay? You do make some rev share. I think you make $2.50 on that one. All right? But that only applies to chargebacks. If you go up to the, let's just drop down to regulatory accounting or the RAC fee. Regulatory Accounting Assistance Program. $90 charged in the month of March. Okay. Don't waive this. Unless you absolutely have to. Here's why. Because it's easy to sell. So 1099K is in 2011, the government started requiring merchants. You want me to stop?
Just what, now that's 1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute, okay. So in 2011, the government started requiring merchants to separate credit card processing revenue from standard revenue, which means they had to file a 1099K, okay? Our Regulatory Accounting Assistance Program helps them with that. I'm gonna just stop here.
Hey, it's Rich Norton here with Retriever Merchant Solutions. I have some awesome, exciting news. Many of you have watched our shows on RMS Sales Training and Inspiration on American Hearts Radio, and we have fantastic opportunities. We have many people reaching out to us through email. Many of you have friends and people that you share this opportunity with. So yes, we do have amazing opportunities. What does it take to get into a position with Retriever Merchant Solutions? We're looking for people that have positive attitude. They are ready to make a commitment. There's no secret formula. You have to go to work, go to work, go to work. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Work from 9 to 5 with a positive attitude, and you will have success. It doesn't matter if you've had sales experience or you had a bunch of sales experience. Today is the beginning of the rest of your amazing life. We have so many people nationwide that are achieving their dreams. You can too. So if you'd like to take advantage of this opportunity and you're looking for an opportunity rather than a job, you reach out to me at 904-434-4635. We will train you. Success breeds success. We will train you to be successful. 904-434-4635. Have a great day.
The RAP fee, the Regulatory Accounting Assistance Program, $90 charged in the month of March. In 2011, the government started requiring merchants to separate credit card revenue from standard revenue. They realized that they were losing money on unreported revenue through tips, returns, voids, etc. So now they require the credit card revenue to be reported independent of regular revenue cash, okay? So what is the Regulatory Accounting Assistance Program? It is a fully filled out 1099-K report that all they have to do is basically sign it, date it, and send it in. Now, do they get all the information to fill out a 1099-K? Yes, of course they do. But this $90 fee gives it to them wrapped up in a nice little bow where they can just sign the information, date it, and send it in. How do you sell it for 90 bucks? Mr. Merchant, this is an opt-out program, it's not a required fee. What I recommend doing, what I tell all my merchants to do, is call your accountant and ask them, is it cheaper for me to pay $90 and have my credit card processing company file the report, or do you want to do it? Because typically accountants will charge per report plus their hourly rate. So oftentimes the accountant is more expensive than paying us 90 bucks. And quite frankly, many merchants just don't call. You make $20 of the regulatory, or $17.95 of the $90 of the accounting fee. So if you take your book times 200 merchants times $17.95, do the math, you make a ton of money on it. It's like a big raise that time of month.
It's like a paid vacation.
That's right. Yeah, so all of these things have a use to create revenue, and every company in the industry is doing that, okay? Now, you have the ability to not charge it. So it's not Big Bad Retriever has all these fees. It's no, you have to look at it from a business perspective. These are opportunities to make revenue, okay? Go ahead.
I would like to say something. For somebody who's worked for another company, I appreciate the honesty of these fees, because for the last 2 years I've sold them, the fees were on there, but I never was told the truth about what it cost
Right.
versus what it was gonna do for me, because ultimately I see now that Transnational was making a lot of money on me selling it, making me sell it,
Right.
and giving me the honesty of you actually being upfront. Hey, you can make more money or you can not make more money, and that's your decision.
That's absolutely true, yes.
But being upfront about it and teaching me exactly that 90 bucks is gonna give me 17.50 when I didn't get nothing at Transnational for it.
Right.
I mean, ultimately, I just wanna say how much I appreciate that, because
Well, you're welcome.
it really does make me feel a whole lot better about meeting with Retriever because of the honesty.
Good.
I mean,
I'm glad, because we try to be as transparent as possible.
What if they want to pay 90? What if they say, hey, I'll do 45?
It's 90, it's all or nothing, because it's an absolute nightmare to change the billing for the dollar
Okay.
amount. So,
Okay.
you know, the merchant can call in anytime prior to March and get rid of it. I'm just telling you, it's really easy to sell. The last 2 years I was in the field is when they added this fee, and I never waived it. And I waived a lot of other stuff. I never waived it because I, at that point, understood the importance of leaving fees on. And I never waived it because it's very easy to sell, because you just nonchalant say, look, I guarantee your accountant charges more than 90 bucks. Why don't you give them a call, find out, and if it's less than 90 bucks, just give us a call. We'll take it off there. It's not a big deal. And they'd be like, okay, fine. And 99% of them never call, either because they called and it was more expensive, or they didn't call. I don't really care. I just wanted the $17.50. So I'm just being honest. All right, paper statement. If you check yes, we're going to charge you $2 for the paper statement. Okay? So you need to charge something above $2. I highly, highly, highly recommend just having the merchant get it online. They can get all the reporting they want with the login through Vantive IQ Online. Okay? Unless they request a paper statement, don't create more paper. I mean, there's just no point. All right? But anything you charge over $2 on a paper statement, you will make revenue on. You'll make your rev share. Merchant supply package. You can waive this, okay? Here's how our merchant supply package works. If the merchant is on it for $9.95, they will get unlimited paper, okay? Unlimited. If they're not on it, when they call in, we're going to try to put them on it, okay? Because they're gonna call in for paper, because we know you're gonna walk around and tell them they get free paper. Okay, paper costs money, so we have to charge for it. How the program works is we have a hard cost rolled across every single merchant at $2.65, okay? It's basically, you're going to get charged $2.65 for the package. Anything over that is rev shared. So the way it works is the ones you leave on pay for the ones you waive, okay? Now, you can waive it and say, provide free paper. If you do that, we're gonna charge you $4. This is confusing, but we're gonna charge you $4.65. So, moral of the story is you can do paper for your merchant for $5, okay? Or you can charge them the $9.95, make $3 and give them paper. That's how it works, okay? That was confusing, I know, but that's how it works.
But that's every month, right?
Correct. And just to let you know, 9 rolls at Staples is about $10. So I always ask the merchant, I say, if you use more than 6 or 7 rolls, you want on our paper program. If you don't, you don't. And if you want to give the merchant paper, you can have us ship them a case. We'll charge you $55 and they'll get, I think they get 120 rolls. Okay? But we house our own paper, we do our own paper. And I'll tell you a quick story behind it because I think it's funny. So Vantive forever was providing free paper to Retriever. So we always gave out free paper to all our merchants and our reps. Well, when we renegotiated our contract a couple years ago, somebody in their accounting department went back and tracked all the paper, and we cost them $146,000 in paper over the course of our 5-year contract. So we no longer get free paper from Vantive. So that's why we have to charge for it. But so, like Rich and I were around in the day where you could just give away all the paper you wanted because we were getting it for free from our processor.
How many rolls of paper does the average
merchant go through? Like 6, 7.
6, so 6 times 12 is...
I mean, a $17,000 merchant, if they're a cigarette shop, they're gonna go through probably 20 rolls. If they're a restaurant or someplace that does a $40, $50 ticket, they're probably gonna go through 5 rolls. So
on average, if you say 6, then what's a case of paper when it comes new rolled? How many's in it?
there's 120, I think, in a case, and they're $55.
Normally it's just checked, yes, if we just leave it that way, are they getting charged the $9.95?
Yes.
Okay.
So if it's hard coded, if you don't put a line through it, and how you waive any of this stuff is simply put a line through it. You can write waive on there if you feel more comfortable, but that's how that works.
Okay.
Okay, PCI, you're gonna hear this incessantly from merchants complaining about it. Right, Rich?
Yeah.
Everybody hates it. What PCI is, I'm gonna explain it to you first, and then I'm gonna tell you how to sell it. But what PCI is Personal Cardholder Information Data Security Standards. So in 2010, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express got together with the government in all their wisdom and created a program called PCI. All it is, to put it in really simple terms, is it's a set of expectations and standards that you as a merchant must comply with and operate within to become what they call compliant. Okay? So, what do I mean by that? When I'm a merchant, I can choose to take credit cards a number of different ways. Okay? For instance, my dentist takes a copy of a driver's license and a credit card. He is way out of compliance. You can never store credit card information anywhere except for in a secure gateway. You cannot store it on a spreadsheet, you can't store it in a database, you can't have it in your server, you can have no what they call PAN data, personal account numbers. You can't have any of that in your business. So the merchants are required to fill out a questionnaire every year that's industry specific, that says, when you take a credit card, do you input it directly into a credit card terminal, or do you write it down on a sheet of paper? If you write it down on a sheet of paper, do you destroy the paper, etc.? Because they want to make sure that they're trying to protect the cardholder's information as much as possible. And if you're accepting Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express, they want to make sure they eliminate as many chargebacks and disputes as possible. And the only way to do that is if the merchants are looking out for you or our consumers' cardholder data. So there's two parts to PCI. That's the first part. They have to fill out a questionnaire. It's called an SAQ form. That it's an assessment form every single year. And they have to do it no matter what processor they're with, because no processor is non-PCI compliant or doesn't want to be PCI compliant, okay? The second part of compliance is the actual credit card terminal, okay? So what are they processing cards with? Credit card terminal or a gateway, etc. You don't have to worry about that part about it, because anything that comes from Retriever is going to be compliant, okay? That just means that it's got the proper security and firewalls in it so that, you know, nobody can penetrate it and have a breach, all right? Now, with PCI, I just told you that they have to fill out a questionnaire. If they fill that questionnaire out every year, they're PCI compliant, okay? If they pay the $90 fee, we provide them $50,000 of indemnity coverage. It's like, but not, an insurance policy against a breach. So if they fill out the questionnaire and say they're operating properly, and then they have one of their employees potentially, or a consumer somehow hack somebody's data and they get sued, they have indemnity coverage that can help them pay fines, fees, and lawsuits, okay? That's what they're paying for. That's the $90. The $90 doesn't make them compliant. The questionnaire makes them compliant, and the equipment they use makes them compliant. There's a big distinction between the two because they're independent of one another. All right? Now, if they pay the $90, they get the $50,000 in indemnity coverage. If they don't pay the $90, they still have to fill out the form. Okay? If they do not fill out the questionnaire, the online questionnaire, the SAQ form, they will get charged $19.95 a month by Retriever every month until they do it. Okay? And you guys, that's a low fee. You will see statements with $29, $39, $49, $59, $100, $99 non-compliance fees, because what companies do in our industry is, our stock dropped for $4. How do we get our revenue up? Well, we take our 200,000 merchants and we take our non-PCI compliance fee and we go from 20 bucks to 50, and you just made up a ton, millions of dollars. So the way it works is you want to make sure that your customers are aware that they need to fill out the SAQ form. Most of them are going to bitch to high hell about it because they hate it, but it's a reality. You're taking credit cards, you got to fill it out. If they call our office, we'll help them get with the people or onto the website and walk them through it. But they have to fill it out. Whether you charge it or not is up to you. If you do charge it, you make $17.95. So for the 90 bucks, they get indemnity coverage, you make $17.95 annually. Okay? Now, if they go non-compliant, you make $6.95 a month. So of the $19.95, you make a rev share on that too. So we're incentivizing the merchant to stay compliant. That's the way it basically works. All right? So when you talk to the merchant and they bring up PCI, the best way to do it, or the best way I've always done it, is I say, look, it's a pain in the butt, but it's like insurance. You have to be PCI compliant, because if you're not, and you have some type of breach, even if it's out of your control 100%, and Visa and MasterCard come in and levy a fine against you, the first time fines can be as high as $100,000. So, you know, most small businesses can't afford that. So you're better off taking Mr. Merchant, I know it's a pain in the butt, but you're better off taking 10 minutes and just filling the thing out. Okay? All right.
Cover up to 50,000 of that, right?
Yes, with indemnity coverage. Do not tell them it's an insurance policy, because it's not. Okay? You don't want to be in for that. And we are at zero, just so you guys know. I always get asked that by new agents. What if there's a chargeback or some type of liability where it's not paid? We are a zero liability company. You have no liability. So if you have a merchant who has a big chargeback and goes out of business or something, and Visa and MasterCard are out 15 or 20 grand or whatever, you have nothing to do with it. Don't worry about it. So you don't need to carry errors and omissions insurance or any of that crap. We take care of all that. All right.
There's two fees on the PCI fee. And it's
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, the 165 and the 1375. What he's referring to is there's two sets. The 165 and 1375 applies to e-commerce. So if they have a gateway business or an online business, that's what, it's a little bit higher because we actually have to scan the website. So, okay, cool. So what we're gonna do now is it's 10:45. I'm gonna bring Mandy back in. She's got the bugs worked out of the boarding tool. And she's gonna go into the boarding tool before lunch for you guys. Thank you.